All right, today we are going to go over the SAT practice test number one. It's 10:50 p.m. where I am. A little tired. So let me before I even get into like the practicals of just like what's in front of me right now, maybe I'll just sort of talk about just that immediate challenge that I'm feeling right now, which is I'm tired. It's 10:50. On the other hand, I do have to take the test in a month, and I don't want to push this off another day. That's not what I want to do. So just to kind of build my motivation for this thing that I don't like love the idea of right now, right? Honestly, like I don't love the idea of taking a practice test right now. Um, I'm just gonna do like a little bit of self pep, and maybe that'll help you guys who are viewing with your own motivation. So right now, let's see, we have interesting. What? I wonder what this number is. All right, so right now, I'm gonna take the practice test number one, and just to build up my own motivation. First, some deep breaths. Just get my posture, get my energy up. I am not tired. I want to take this test. I want to practice it, and I this practice would be good for me because um, like I've seen only a couple like practice tests for the reading test before, so just like slowly working through it and understanding the sort of requirements, it'll be good for me to just like slowly process like what kinds of things this test wants from me and start categorizing maybe what are some of the problems. Also, I think the hardest part of doing anything, including studying, is just to get started. And this would be my first real test that I'm streaming. So after this, it's like legit. It's like I'm actually doing it. So yeah, it's just good to get things moving. I've already been pushing this off for a week because of other obligations, so it's good to just get things moving. Also, I'm only taking one test. I'm not taking all four, so it should be less exhausting and be fine just to go through one practice test. Yeah. Yeah, well, those are some of the things I could say to myself to motivate myself. Take a deep breath and feel good. Remind myself, hey, like I might not get this perfect right now on the first shot, but like this will be an interesting learning experience, right? That's all I want from this. So I'm not gonna time myself today. I can get started now. All right, I can get started now. I'm not gonna time myself. I'm gonna focus mainly on just processing. Okay. And just dealing with some technical stuff real quick. Yeah, this is good. Let's get going. So the first thing I want to do is start with the instructions. So these directions are really straightforward. I think the only meaningful thing here is that um, all of your answers, and this is something that all students, like many students struggle with, you're not supposed to be creative about the answer, you know, like just reaching for logic. You always want the answer to come from the page, from the text itself. And so it should specifically be based on what is stated or implied in the passage. And the hard part is the implied, is what is implied by the passage, by the text itself. But usually, there are ways of figuring out the implication, and I can go over that about the ways that I understand what's implied, step by step. I guess this is one big difference from back in the day, but we do have tables and graphs, so nothing too dramatic there. Let's get started. So my eyes came right here immediately, but actually before I read, I just wanted I actually as I started here, I actually caught myself and I realized, no, don't do that. I'm gonna zone out if I do that right away. I wanna like kind of know what the passage is about before I even start the passage. I wanna already have an idea of where I'm going. I don't want to just start totally cold, like without any warm up. So we have Lydia Minatoya. I had the Akira getting Japan. We get this Japan. And then we have Chia and her daughter Naomi. So now we have multiple people here. For me, I'm just thinking, well, first I'm not going to really focus so much on Lydia. That's just the name of the author. I'm going to focus more on Chia and her daughter Naomi. So we have Chia and Naomi who are nobles. They are nobles. Okay. So what can I already know before even reading the story? Um, because this is in 1920, because we're talking about nobility, because the SAT and just sort of modern literature, we tend to think about like social class. Uh, I'm expecting the daughter to break away from tradition, like, and I swear to God, I swear to, I swear to the lords of this college board, I have never seen this passage before, but I already have like a 90% confidence that my guess is correct. Um, the daughter is going to break away from tradition, um, and Chia is going to have trouble with Naomi. Uh, and so there's going to be some tension there. That's my prediction right now. And just getting that gut feeling right now, I might be wrong, but just at least having a gut feeling allows me to start picking up the clues and then adjusting as I go. As opposed to if I just go straight in, if I go straight in, then what happens is, I'm just sort of grasping at what might be the main idea and I'm like building it from bottom up. Whereas here, I kind of know that I'm thinking of nobles, that I'm thinking of two generations, um, and I'm assuming like traditional mom versus sort of progressive daughter, and that's at least a framework to work with. And in fact, normally I don't do this because I'm very confident in my reading, but if I were low confidence in my reading, I might even just jump to the very back. I might just jump all the way down here just to, and on paper this would only take like 5 seconds or like even less. But I would oh my God. See, I just jumped here and I already got sort of like my clue. He thinks he can just marry the Fuji heir and take her to America all in the snap of his fingers. This is the Fuji heir. This is actually shockingly connected to something that's actually happening in the world. I think, random side comment, but I think right now in the world we have Japanese imperial family daughter who marrying some like high school teacher or something, and then they're gonna leave Japan to go to America, and this is like a big hubbub, there's like a big furor around this in Japan. So this is shockingly parallel to what's actually happening like right now as we speak. But anyway, see what I did there? See what I did there? It's something you can do too. Just read this thing, just read this thing, and make a prediction and then get the main idea out of the way. And now you're focusing on characterizations and all this other stuff. Get that out of the way. And yeah, dude, oh my God, it's just perfect. Exactly. The Mary the Fuji heir, exactly what I was looking for. I'm now all I know is now I can get rid of all the details. I don't have to worry so much about it. I'm sorry, I don't. Sorry, I can get rid of the sort of high level worries about what this is about. I know what this is about. I can go focus on the characterization, on the logic, on the things that happen in between these characters. Okay, so moving on. Oh, and right here, this we get this breaking all tradition. Now we don't know who Akira is. So I'm working with Akira, but he was that it? Okay, so had he followed for he might be the son, right? We have Chie, Naomi, Akira came directly breaking all tradition. Was that it? Had he followed form? Yes, his mother. Chie have been more receptive. So I think Akira is trying to propose to Chie. Ah, came. So, yeah, he went directly to the house. I'm just noticing that calling card. So right now I'm imagining that Akira went directly to the house of Chie, to the house of a noble family, which already sounds like all sorts of trouble. Just double checking some like technical issues. 'Cause I'm still new to streaming. Double checking that things aren't breaking. My audio's coming through. All right, we're all good. Let's go. Naomi first comes out. They were reading. It's a cold, right? It's cold. It's winter. I think you should go to Naomi. So I think Naomi knows that it is her suitor. And right now my eyes jumped back over here just to double check, like the situation. He's young. A matter of urgency. I'm having trouble focusing. I'm gonna fix my posture, okay? And I'm gonna worry less about explaining my thoughts. Glance beyond him. In the glass? Okay. So I actually read down and then because I realized I was losing focus, I went back up. Soft, refined. Well, that's good. We have refined, so it's not as disruptive as I assumed. Sincerity. Huh. Starting to like him. That's good. But how am I involved? Had no idea that they were trying to get married. Akira amused her. They're so earnest. They're so cute. She's just a child. He's just a child, Akira. Even Naomi's just a child. Funny. Had made no effort to find her husband. Not. It's the farthest thing from her mind right now. Chia has no clue what's about to happen to her. We have an understanding. Please don't judge my candidacy by the unseemliness of this patrol. I'm honestly, I love the stiffness of the language here. Because I'm at least because being Korean, I can imagine the formality of this kind of thing. Um, uh, just via Korean conservative Korean culture. So I'm just loving. Please don't judge my candidacy by the unseemliness of this proposal. And yeah, in Asia, you do ask the parents, or at least in East Asia, at least in China, at least in Japan and Korea. Um, a go-between takes too much time. Either method comes down to the same thing, a matter of parental approval. If you give me your consent, I become Naomi's Yoshi. To secure a new home for my to secure a new home for my bride. Whoa! I'm going to just take her away. Dude, that's like a threat, bro. Yo. A man who marries a woman of higher status and takes her. Oh, wow, that's such an interesting custom. I never knew that existed. That's such a. I become Naomi's Yoshi. We will live in the house of Fuji. Whoa, that's such a crazy custom. Okay, he just. Isn't that basically a threat? I've startled you. I mean, she probably feels threatened. I mean, it's like, hey, if you don't accept my proposal of marriage, I'm gonna take her to America. Yo, accept me into the house of Fuji. Make me a lord. Make me a nobleman. Or your daughter's gone. Or I kidnap your daughter. That's basically what's happening. Taking her ease with effortless grace, like a cat making off with fish. He has asked you. I met him at my literary meeting. And that's such a. I'm just moved by that little sentence. Now, on the real test, I wouldn't have the time to be moved, but mother, I met him at the book club. That's like how you announce. That's how you announce your intention to marry uh, to your mother who has no freaking clue what's about to happen. I mean to have it. All right, that was pretty fun actually. I enjoyed that. All right. So, probably one thing that people might be wondering about is on the real test, do I actually read the entire thing first? And I do. The answer is I do. I always just read the passage first because I find that going back and forth with a question just like makes me lose focus, makes it harder. I end up rereading things more, and then I make guesses based on things that I'm not even comfortable on. I just want to read the whole thing. I have the confidence that I can read the whole thing and retain it and like know what the point was and remember where like the surprising moments are, like where the data comes out, where the surprise comes out, where the twist comes out. I remember roughly the map of it. In fact, over here, if I just briefly look at the macro picture, there's three columns, column one, two, and three. In the first column, we have Akira just coming. In the second column, we have the mother, like kind of not expecting, not ready, like kind of stirring herself and getting to him, but not really expecting anything. And then the third column, we have the proposal, the threat, and then the mom being cornered, right? I kind of just know, like I already know it all, right? And so reading it once and then just knowing it all makes it way easier for me to answer the questions, which you'll be able to see right now. Okay. No arguing. Oh, and just double check. Which choice best describes what happens in the passage? A guy makes a proposal to a mom who doesn't like it, and then the mom gets cornered. Surprising request from another. That's true. I already circled it because I'm so confident. But I feel like reminisces no, criticizes is no. We only have that brief moment of reaction at the very end, but we don't have actual criticizing him directly the whole time. So I am high confidence on B, bear. Okay, I zoned out on this like question for some reason, but which choice best describes the developmental pattern? Okay, like how, which is such a weird way of saying that, but how is this passage developed? You know, what's like the progression of this passage? So basically, my gut feeling says something about surprise and dramatic irony if you're being super literary, but you don't need to know dramatic irony, right? Some surprise happens to this mom. Okay. A careful analysis is the wrong word. Depiction of a meaningful encounter is probably correct. Series of questions and response, and this is not a response. There might be questions in. There might be questions that you know you can kind of imagine. So, is he going to marry him? But that's not in the text. There are no questions in the text, right? And so there's no response in the text. The text doesn't respond to me. That's not how it's developing by giving a bunch of questions and then responding. So don't think about the questions that are in your head. Okay, that's not what it's asking about. It's asking about how is this passage developed, right? So it develops by showing an episode of these people interacting. Cheerful, amusing, no. Cheerful, it's a very neutral, understated recounting of an anecdote, and it's not even necessarily amusing. Okay. So notice I'm not even reading the passage right now because I already know. I'm very high confidence here. It'd be silly if I got it wrong, but directly most nearly means. Okay. Directly most, and I already remember line one directly. He came directly. He went straight to the house. So I'm already not precision, not without mediation. Without mediation means without that middle person, without that person in the middle. So let's look at line 65. Getting used to this app, which is not easy to navigate. I asked directly because the use of a go-between. So I asked without a go-between. C is correct. Confidence. Very high confidence. Which reaction does Akira most fear from Chie? Oh, she wants Chie to laugh at her joke. Basically what that means is she wants Chie to think it's silly for her to marry Akira, not to take her. Not so she really strongly doesn't want Chie to be like, I'm going to marry Akira. That's her worst fears. So Akira fears that Chie will accept Akira's proposal. Not inappropriate. Not make some mistake for immaturity. Not an imposition of like impoliteness. Oh, my lord, I made a mistake. Oh, the reason realized I made a mistake, but thank God that only took me what, like 5 seconds or so, 10 seconds or so, just going through this. But the reason I realized I made a mistake was I realized no. So first I thought this was talking about Chie most fear from from Naomi. Okay, so this is me being overconfident. However, this overconfidence didn't really cost me that much time. So I can this is correct. Like I can correct this in real time. It wouldn't sacrifice me too much. But this is what I was thinking. But because I was thinking Chi and Naomi underestimate the sincerity, I was like, what? That makes no sense. And then I realized, oh, I just eliminated all four of them, and I was pretty high confidence when I eliminated them all. So I I gotta like double check what the question was actually asking, right? So my eyes went just like in that split second. It took me like 1 second. I just went back to the question, and then I realized, oh my God, Akira Chie, not Chie Naomi. So those are the kinds of corrections you guys should always. I mean, even me when I get perfect scores, I'm always making self corrections. I'm not making no mistakes. I'm always making mistakes. It's just that my mistakes are cheap. They only cost me 10 seconds. You want to catch the mistakes as fast as possible. You don't want to let a mistake be caught 1 minute later. That's a very expensive mistake. So, always you want to be high confidence constantly. You don't want to go you don't want to start making compromises with low confidence, like guesses. Okay, stay as high confidence as possible, read the whole passage and go through these questions one by one, predicting the answers so you can retain your confidence. Akira, the boy, the suitor, most fears that Chie will find his approach inappropriate. Yeah, that's correct. Immaturity, he doesn't care. An imposition. Oh, this is actually possible. Okay, these are both possible. Underestimate sincerity? No, he's being very sincere, and I don't think there's any evidence for that. So we need to find. So in this case, I actually don't have a clear map right now. I don't know exactly what line. Okay, I don't. How come this doesn't move? Okay. Where'd it go? Okay. So I don't know exactly what line it'll come out in, okay? But I'm just looking at these three columns and I'm thinking, where could so one thing you might notice is I'm not jumping to the next question, which will guide me. Okay. This could guide me. But I find that like looking for specific numbers like this actually kills too much time. You know? I want to just use the map that's already in my head. And I kind of have a gut feeling that Akira's fears are not going to come out in the third column for sure. It's not going to come out, it might come out in the second column, but I think the most likely place for the Akira's fears to come out regarding Chia is in the first column. I'm just trying to remember where his subjectivity, where his inner thoughts and feelings come out. And I think it's over here. Oh, and right, was that it? Had he followed form? Had he asked his mother? Would Chia have been more receptive? That's his initial thing. But what was the question? What was I deciding about? I was deciding whether Akira most fears that she will think it's inappropriate. Okay, most fears she will think it's inappropriate, or considers unscheduled visit an imposition. I feel like it must be A for some reason, because what does consider his unscheduled visit an imposition? That that he is imposing on her. So it's the fact that it's unscheduled, right? So is it the proposal that we're focusing on or on the unscheduled visit? And it must be the proposal. It must be the proposal. The unscheduled visit is not really the focus. So I actually just read this. I tried to get a clue over here. Then I just was like, what am I looking for again? And I just double checked here and I'm already pretty confident. And then just by rereading the answer choices, he fears that he's going to get rejected. And what's the one that's closest to being rejected? Inappropriate. Imposition. He's being impolite. He's being impolite. Is not the same as fearing. Fearing being impolite is not the same as fearing being a little bit considered rude is not the same as fearing rejection. And is like rejection, and C, cat, is like politeness. So I honestly, I would probably just choose, I would just choose A right away. I'm like medium to medium. I'm like medium high confidence. Like if I really wanted to, I would go back and kind of like find some more text, but I don't think it's worth it when I'm already medium high confidence. Basically, I'm high confidence. Um, but if I had like a lot of free time, I might come back to it. So I might as well start it. But I'm pretty sure about it. Now we're looking for the evidence 33 to 72. I'm looking between 33 and 72. 33 looks like his voice was refined. I don't think that's the problem. So I'm looking between 49 and 72. Let's look at 49 and 72. I'm just looking for evidence that he really fears rejection. Yeah, this earnestly thing has nothing to do with fearing rejection. He's fearing rejection. Please don't judge my candidacy by the unseemliness. That's 63. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the correct answer. I'm going to circle it for now because these are wrong. I'm looking at 72. Just double check. 71, 72. Had been looking her full in the face. His voice turned gentle. Looking her full in the face, that has no connection whatsoever. Only C has something to do with his fears. So C has to be the correct answer. C has to be the correct answer. But please don't judge my candidacy by the unseemliness of his proposal. Now I'm coming back to 4 because C is the only answer that actually has anything to do with his fears. So that was a very obvious answer. But over here, it may seem like I just wanted to double check that I really can definitively take out cat. So A is for ant, B is for bear, C is for cat, D is for dog, just to make it easier for me to speak. But I really wanted to definitively cross out cat, and cat right now has unscheduled visit, but that's not what he's apologizing for. He's apologizing for not using a go-between, not using an intermediary. Okay. The proposal itself. Plus, again, he fears rejection. So I'm going to go with that. I am high confidence on 4. I would be shocked if I was wrong. Okay. Well, now that I've said it, I'm all paranoid. I gotta just double check. Yeah. It's not the unscheduled part. There's no text for that. Akira addresses Chie with affection, maybe? Yeah, but why would such a strange, that's an odd. Yeah, I mean, are we expecting her to love Chia in the first place? Oh, hang on. Whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know what's going on, but it's with these names, these Japanese names. For some reason, I'm not mapping them correctly to the right person. Some people are way better with names, just naturally. I'm really horrible with names, so I always have to remember Akira is the dude, and Chia is the mom. So, of course, this is not the correct answer. This is just off topic, it's not connected whatsoever. Yes. Not utter deference. He basically threatens her. Moving on. This is when he's just questioning himself. Would that have made Chie more amenable? Right? So, describe it. None of these answers. The main purpose of the first paragraph is to establish the doubts that are in Akira's mind. Also, to kind of set up maybe his mental situation. Question. I feel like maybe analyze a reaction as in Chia's reaction, the mom's reaction. So let me just double check. Was that it? Was that the reason? He came directly, breaking all tension. Was that the reason? Had he followed form, if he had followed form, would Chia have been more receptive? I'm looking at the subjunctive. Oh, trippy, trippy. Okay. Had he followed? This means if he had followed form. Oops. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Would Chia have been more? So the what I mean by subjunctive is that sort of hypothetical question. You can double check this by reading it the opposite way. Would Chia have been more have Would Chia have been more receptive had he followed form? If he had followed form, if he had followed custom. So uh, this analyzing a reaction? It's more like doubting a thing, but he's definitely not criticizing. He's not describing a culture. We're not describing a culture. We're not. There's no suggestion where we're doubting. So analyzing a reaction is the best. This is, but this is kind of I think this is a poorly written question personally, because usually the main purpose of a when you say main purpose of a paragraph, you're not talking about the character who is speaking. You're talking about when we say purpose in the real test, for college board tests for AP and SAT, we're talking about the rhetorical purpose generally, like what that past paragraph serves to do. So normally I would have said the main purpose of the first paragraph is to set up, to illuminate the doubts in the character's head or something like that, or like to, and like what we know is chronologically it's after the events of the story, so maybe we could like have something about that, like kind of flash forward to like the future where, and then like foreshadow what the conflict actually is, so it has some of that going on. But anyway, I don't think this is a great question. I think it was a poorly written question. Moving on. Moving on. Form most nearly means. Oh, I just zoned out again. Yeah, I need to drink something. Had he followed? Oh, geez. Yeah, had he followed custom? Sure. Moving on. Why does it? Because if he uses a go between, it's gonna take too much time. It's gonna take too much time. No, Naomi on. Yeah. No, not his own parents. Yes, another country. And we have no idea that there is no evidence for this. We have no evidence for this, right? But I might be wrong because maybe there was evidence and maybe I just didn't pick up on it. But this is the reason for the urgency. He has to leave, and we can double check the reason for the urgency because he actually gives it to us. Um, so it's over here, because it takes too much time. Hang on. Right. I've received an opportunity to go, and it would take too much time. Oh, jeez. You know what? I actually just lost. You know what I did? I was being a little inefficient with this. Whenever it says, a character, you know, he's coming with this urgency and it's in line 32, you should really just start there. And I failed to do that. I don't know why. Um, but you should start there. Like, I come with a matter of urgency. And what is his urgency? Like, probably it'll come right away. So you want to look here. This is the first place you want to look. See, normally I would approach you more properly, but I've received word of a position. So this is the implied reason for the urgency. See, normally he wouldn't be this urgent, but he just got this offer. That's the urgency. Okay, yeah, so I'm high confidence that this is the correct answer. I'm gonna move on. Oh my God, and it comes right after. And I think this is the normally bit. Hang on, what's going on? The normally bit. So let me just double check 39. Normally I would approach you more properly, but I've received word of a position. Okay. Yep. Let's look at 39. I don't want to trouble you. Oof, that has nothing to do with urgency. Urgency. Yeah. Yep. That directly connects. These are always horrible when you get both of them wrong. Like when you get C and B, when you choose C and B, cat and bear, and you get both of them wrong together, it's always horrible. So it's always good to just double check how confident you are on these other three, that these are wrong. But yes, the only one that I could be unconfident about is D. But you know, he keeps like kind of feeding her the information like piece by piece. It seems like he's sort of figuring out what's going to happen. We could also eliminate these. I know that 39 is wrong. 58, 59, let's double check. And 72, 73. Now, by the way, on the real test, I wouldn't do this personally. I'm just doing it for the sake of this stream. Yeah, this has no connection to his urgency. So I would, come on. All right, I would just cross that out. Right, that doesn't explain the urgency whatsoever. And then 70 was it 2? 72, 73. Abruptly, I've startled you. Again, has nothing to do with urgency. So yes, I am extremely high confidence now. Normally I would have done it. I was already pretty high confidence in the first place. And that's how you save time by being high confidence in the first place. And how do you get high confidence in the first place? Read the thing and enjoy it. Enjoy the reading of the thing. I think if you enjoy the reading of the thing, it helps you retain the information a lot better in your mind. All right. I'm noticing I'm really tired, so I'm going to pause real quick. I don't know if YouTube has like a function for that, so I'm just gonna pause real quick, and and let me just like wake myself up a little bit, because it's only gonna get harder from here. All right. It's a beautiful evening, 11:30 p.m. That took me a while to get through. Man, this is really slows it down. This really slows it down. Whoa. Talking out loud. Or thinking out loud. Wow. Okay. I don't know if I can make it through all 5. Jeez. That's too much to get through. So I might not be able to get through all 5. I'll at least do one more passage and then see how I feel at that point. Ah! All right. Let's get going. This is the second passage. Ah, I see. This is how you move around. Yeah, I had some problems with navigating. Okay. Weird. This app has some strange navigation. Can I change the settings for this dragging? Because it's really strange trying to move around on this page. Okay. For now, though, I'll just work with what I have. So here we go. Passage 2. Let's go. Okay. So immediately, I already have some gut feelings. That's, normally in the real test, if I had to actually express the gut feeling out loud, that obviously would waste my time. But I'm only doing it for the purpose of, explaining to you what's going through my mind. But this gut feeling would guide me and actually save me so much time. Okay? Money can't buy love. That already gives me basically the thesis, the research that's going to come out. I already kind of know what it's about. It's about how when a guy or a girl gives a gift to the person the person he or she is trying to woo, that there are asymmetric beliefs about the price of it, and maybe even asymmetric feelings of appreciation. I'm expecting when I give a very expensive gift that that the girl would really have a dramatic experience, but it doesn't happen. Conversely, they might think that it's actually not worth that much, right? So what are you supposed to do with that? Maybe smaller, cheaper gifts are actually more impactful, something like that. Okay, that's sort of my gut feeling right now. And again, normally in the real test, I actually go straight to the first paragraph and I just sort of infer what I just sort of guess what the conclusion would be. But for the sake of when I'm low confidence, when I feel like when I'm not really getting like the perfect score and I feel a little shaky, I do look at the last paragraph just to double check, just to make sure I'm thinking in the right direction. This I don't know honestly. I'm curious if this is more effective for you guys to just look at the end first. I suspect it would be, if I didn't have like the super high, if you guys don't have the super high confidence to be able to just read it from the beginning and kind of get the end. Um, I do suspect that this would be helpful for you guys, but you guys let me know. Let me know what's best for you. I think that'd be good feedback for anybody. They are unable to account for the other perspective. They don't know how much the other person gave. The recipient doesn't know how much the other person gave, and the giver doesn't know how much the other person would feel feelings about this. Even though they play both roles. Somehow never learn to calibrate their. So if people just knew how ineffective expensive gift giving was, then like if people just remind themselves of how they feel when they get expensive gifts and then apply it to their lessons, apply it as a lesson when they're giving gifts to other people, then they might give cheaper gifts. That's kind of my prediction right now. This conclusion just now was actually fairly abstract. This conclusion was fairly abstract, so I don't know 100% sure that what I just said is correct, but that is my best guess so far. And I wouldn't spend more time trying to figure out the conclusion just by reading backwards. That's just wasting time. Now that I have a slightly more confident understanding of what the conclusion will lead towards, I'm just going to read it from the beginning. Let's go. Let's go. Frantically for the perfect gift. 30 billion. Also, they regularly buy stuff throughout the year. Frequent experience. Ambivalent feelings. Right. On the one hand, we can get closer. On the other hand, we dread it because we might disappoint rather than delight. Okay, generic social. So this is a question that could come out on the SAT later on. What was the function? What was the purpose of the first paragraph? It's to situate the phenomenon, situate the research within a larger social phenomenon. So we got that. That's funny, this contrast. It's interesting. To it, that's so interesting. I definitely would spend more money for a gift than I would on myself. Oh, my shoulder. Give me a sec. Okay. Social psychologists understand this because people are egocentric and they have make all these other types of errors. What is surprising, okay, so this is the focus. So in the second paragraph, we didn't get the focus. Okay, well, now we're just situating the research, the research that's about to come out. I assume research is about to come out. Uh, we're situating the research within the academic frame debate. Yeah, we already had this at the very last paragraph. A unique psychological explanation. What is this? Oof, what just happened? Okay. Ooh, okay, this is like their thesis. They equate how much they spend with how much. I see. And that seems realistic, right? When I give somebody a gift, I mainly just think about how expensive it is. Which I think when I receive a gift, I don't really think about how. No, I do think about how expensive it was, but that doesn't necessarily make me feel more appreciative. In fact, I might feel more sorry, if anything. Um, it's interesting. It's an interesting little thing that does actually happen. Convey stronger. Oh, there's no real research that comes out. It's just a bunch of theory. It's interesting. That was a little bit of a surprise. I was wrong with that prediction. This is a lot of just theoretical description. So basically, here are some theories. Here are some theories about why people are like that. Here we have the thesis itself that people equate the amount they spend to the amount they think the other person would be appreciative, right? Was I right? Yeah, yeah. Wow, this is hard to navigate. Oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't use PDF Expert. Anyway, yeah. So uh, and then at the end, this just feels like a summary to me. Like, is there something new that comes out in this idea? But it's probably because I read it first, which is what's making me kind of not notice what it is. But all right, I'm not gonna get hung up on it. I know what this whole passage is about, so I'm just moving on. There. So what I'm expecting right here is, when I spend a lot of money, when a giver spends a lot of money, that they're expecting high appreciation, but actually appreciation is pretty low. So giver, less less expensive gift, they're expecting low. More expensive gift, they're expecting high. The good news is the recipient is just appreciative both ways. In fact, they're even slightly more appreciative, slightly. But if you've learned any statistics, depending on how big the sample is, man, that doesn't mean anything. That's such a minor difference. Yeah, but if anything, according to the chart, assuming the sample sizes are a-okay, then you can say that actually the less expensive gift is more appreciated than the expensive gifts. But we don't even know how expensive these are. Are we talking like 1,000 versus 100? Man, this is such a crappy chart, honestly. If I really wanted to learn about this, so the College Board is not giving me the juice. I want more juice. I want to actually know. I'm actually genuinely curious. I want to know what kind of experiment this is. I want to know the research, man, not all this theoretical stuff. Anyway. The examples in lines 1 through 9 is the Christmas and also the non-Christmas examples, right? Because showers comes out, so that's like the baby showers. Yeah. So to highlight, how often we shop for gifts. Yeah, that's basically true. And now I'm gonna just double check the other ones. Nope, not the amount of money, not the anxiety only. That comes out later, and that comes out balanced. And the number of occasions, that is incorrect. We are talking about the regularity, 1 through 9, every December. Oh, and then over here, the word every day, man. Every day. Every day. We talk about every day, so that's regularity. Regularity. Ambivalent. These gift givers, they're conflicted because they want to make people feel good. They want to get closer. They want to get closer bonds, but they're afraid they're going to disappoint. They are conflicted. Oh, Jesus. Yo, this is so hard to navigate. Okay. The authors indicate that people value gift giving because they feel it allows them to get close. Yeah, that comes out right at the first column. Wow, super easy so far, guys. Super easy. Closest that is, 10 through 13, 10 through 13, 10 through 13. Give me 10 through 13. I'm not even gonna double check the other ones. It's so obvious. Moving on. Social psychologists mentioned in paragraph 2 would likely describe it that way. Okay, right? The economists are the ones that hate it, right? The economists are the ones that hate it, and this is quite predictable. Okay, for the social scientists, it's predictable. Where do we get that from? 1734. This deadweight loss suggests they're not very good at predicting what gifts others will appreciate. Social psychologists do not find that surprising. The evidence is right there. Okay, super easy. In fact, these are so easy. I'm not even double checking the other answer choices. I don't think I recommend that for most readers, for most test takers. But yeah, super easy. When I say easy, obviously I mean on a relative scale. It's easy for me, and I'm super high confidence. I guess probably what I really mean is I'm very high confidence. I'm not just regular high confidence. I'm like very high confidence. So maybe I'm wrong, right? Sometimes I misplace my confidence, but I am very high confidence. That's what I mean when I say easy. And I skip the answers. Indicates that the assumption made by gift givers, line 41 to 44, may be. I assume this assumption is the one where we talk about the money, right? The assumption is how much they spend is equal to how much they will appreciate. Unreasonable or incorrect. Oh, okay, not unreasonable. Okay. Incorrect. Okay. The reason The passage indicates that this could be incorrect. It could be incorrect because it says literally may be unfounded. Indeed. And then we even have this right here. We even have this chart right here. So yeah. Unreasonable is not the same as incorrect. In fact, it even suggests reasonable. It seems intuitive. Intuitive is connected to reasonable, but it's unfounded. Okay, so don't get tripped up on the vocabulary there. This kind of vocabulary is something you really need to be able to get down pat. Which choice provides the best evidence? I'm not even going to look at all those numbers. I'm just going to find the unfounded, which is 46 to 47, and I'm going straight for it. Go for the jugular. Oh, what? Okay, we're coming down. What? What just happened? They're messing with me. So I'm looking from 53 to 78. Frustrating. Yeah, it could be incorrect. And then the evidence for the previous question was literally where I was looking, but now I have to, now I'm on like a wild goose chase. I have to go look for these things. 53 to 60 and then 63, 65. Okay, let's look at this. '53. Perhaps they believe stronger signals of thought and consideration. Let's look at 65. Spend more money. I need to get a sense of why it's wrong. Okay. I see. It must be 64, 63 to 65 must be the correct answer. Just double checking. I mean, this is definitely not the best evidence for this. Yeah. The passage indicates that the assumption may be incorrect. Okay. And the passage indicates they might be incorrect. Well, 63 to 65, what it says is the recipients might not construe the cheaper gift as representing smaller signals of thought and consideration. This is on the reasoning. Let me just double check 75, 78. Fail to utilize that. This is about their own ability. So no. So that's incorrect. 63, 65 is the only remaining answer. College board doing me dirty. Okay, the most obvious evidence was over here, where it literally said, such an assumption may be unfounded. That is literally the answer. It may be incorrect. Guys, College board, come on, man. That is literally the answer. May be unfounded, may be incorrect. God. Why are you sending me all the way down to 63, 65 for this? Line 54, convey most nearly means. Convey probably means, send stronger signals. Send is stronger signals. Let's look for send. Send, communicate stronger signals. Let's go. Get it. 19, the authors refer to work by Kammerer and others in order to offer, now this is that second to last paragraph. And yeah, offer explanations. Not to question, not to doubt something, not to support. We don't know. We're talking about multiple different explanations for why this might be the case. Right. Lots of mays. This might be the case. That might be the case, According to Kammerer. Yep. Offer on explanation. Moving on, 20. We have the graph following the passage offer evidence that gift givers base their predictions on how much give givers the monetary value based on how expensive it will be. Let me just double check the graph that it does come. Yes, more expensive, less expensive. Let's go. We're good. Monetary value. How expensive? Expensiveness. That should be your prediction for this correct answer. For this answer, and expensiveness, bear is the closest to expensiveness. The authors would likely attribute the differences in gift giver and recipient. Mean appreciation, as represented in the graph, to attribute it out. They would attribute the difference to how gift givers assume more expensive shows more consideration, but gift recipients don't necessarily. So attributed to bad assumptions, right? Bad assumptions about what they will appreciate. No, shifting perspective. They're surprised that they can shift perspective. They can't shift perspective to. They can't. They're surprised they can't shift perspective to apply the lesson to their own lives. But that's not what this is about. No, misunderstanding of intentions. Misunderstanding of what? We're not misunderstanding. It must be this. Ooh, Trixie. Let's look. What's happening here? Let me just double check. Yes. On the one hand, if I am unable to shift my perspective, then I will start making bad assumptions. Okay? Because if I just, as a giver, if I just remember what it's like to be a recipient, then I will no longer have that difference in the appreciations thing. Okay. Can the differences be attributed to a misunderstanding of intentions? Like, who is misunderstanding? Are they both misunderstanding each other's intentions? No. The recipient is understanding it perfectly fine. Just because they're giving me a cheaper gift doesn't mean I'm... Yeah. So it's A. It's A because... whoa, man. This is buggy, yo. I can't change... They're misunderstanding. Because if they could account for the other party's perspective, then I guess they would. Okay. If they could apply it, then they would know that even a less expensive gift will generate the right response. But, I don't think this is logically very clean as a question. I don't think that's a very logically clean. Like, I think that question would not make it on the LSAT. It's a little sloppy. Because that's not directly what it's being attributed to. So the word attribute is a little sus here, but I'm gonna work with it because that's the only answer choice. I'll star this and come back to it later. All right, and that is the first two those are the first two passages in the reading test. I am exhausted. This is exhausting to explain what I'm thinking. Oh my god, I feel dumber over time. So I think 5 passages at once. Whoa, it's too much. At least not at this time. It's midnight right now. I'll just take a break, and I'll schedule the next 3 passages sometime tomorrow. All right, guys. See you in the next one.